Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Farah Nabila binti Muhammad and my metric number is 050474. Let me start with background and introduction. In order to understand this topic, we must understand what is risk management and what is corporate governance, and we must know what is risk management in corporate governance. Risk management is the process of identifying, assessing, and controlling threats to an organization, capital, and earnings. This risk could arise from a variety of sources such as financial instability, legal liability, strategic management failures, accident and natural disaster. Then, corporate governance is the system of rules, practices and processes which a firm is directed and controlled. Corporate governance is balancing the interests of a company's numerous stakeholders, which includes shareholders, top management, executive, consumers, suppliers, financiers, the government and the community. Risk management has been prioritized in the development of corporate governance practices. All firms must be able to design risk-based policy and an acceptable set of operating procedure in order to adapt change in condition. Given the current global financial crisis, this article highlights the need for risk management, planning and handling, as well as the need for business to re-evaluate their governance structure to ensure sufficient risk management. Okay, next. Problem statement. In this article, we identify the relationship between corporate governance and risk management in high-tech businesses. As an example, the research method is to publicly identify Australian biotechnology companies. Our research is limited on risk management and corporate governance in Australian biotechnology companies. These studies variables include the external environment, business plan and policy, people and others. Okay, next is objective. The objective is to propose a governance structure for identifying and managing the multiple risks that such organizations confront in order to assist the board and management in dealing with financial and non-financial issues. Another important finding from this research is the scarcity of research on how to assess risk across industry and organization.
Hi, my name is Nur Fadlin Sakina. My metric number is 050666. I will explain my part literature review. First, the board function is often characterized as fourfold. First, providing strategy input. Second, identifying performance targets. Third, making crucial appointments. And fourth, providing managerial oversight. The quality of decision making is implicit in these positions. Kiel and Nicholson analysed the job of boards as demonstrating that risk management monitoring is a relatively new addition to the board's specified job. According to them, the board function should be expanded to include a review of risk management policies, methods, and performance. AS at CGC defined corporate governance as the framework of rules, relationships, procedures within and by which corporate power is exercised and regulated. It includes the means for holding corporations and individuals in authority accountable. While the board sets policy, Sobel and Reading point out that it is management obligation to manage risk, not the board, the internal or external auditor. They argue that molding enterprise risk management with governance necessitates collaboration between directors, senior management, internal and external auditors and risk owners. Second, according to KPMG survey data, the audit committees are more concerned with overseeing financial reporting and related compliance concerns than with a broader scope of risk management, and they are not comfortable doing so. Third, the criteria for audit committee participation are incompatible with the demands of a risk committee. Fourth, many of the company risk concerns may be best understood by employees within the company. In addition, rivals workers are not allowed to serve on boards, and executive directors are not allowed to serve on audit committees. DLSC proposed that the risk management committee and the audit committee be separated, noting that the makeup of both committees would vary by industry and organizational complexity. DLSC proposed that the Risk Management Committee and the Audit Committee be separated, not simply board members but other persons of varied levels, expertise and credentials may be included in both. In support of DLSC, we show how this approach may provide insufficient risk management for many public firms.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hawa Nurain binti Jafari. My metric number is 050518.
According to our reference, we found two important things that need to be discussed, which is governance and risk management of biotechnology companies and corporate governance and risk management. For governance and risk management of biotechnology companies, primarily, biotechnology requires an enterprise-wide business risk management plan, which is a process that is structured and aligns strategy, processes, people, technology, and knowledge in order to evaluate and manage uncertainties. We got to reconsider the appropriateness of the traditional model against the scenery of progressively complex risk and a widening of the definition of corporate governance that particularly consolidates risk management. Consider the threat and administrative environment confronted by a public company in just one highly technical industry, biotechnology, operating in just one local, which is Australia. Biotechnology companies face risks associated with research and improvement ventures, such as resource allocation risk, timeline risk, consumption budget risk, translation to generation risk, generation scale-up risk, and quality risk. In short, it is not just the range of risks that many biotechnology companies face. It is the complexity and the interaction of the different risks, and the scale and scope of the result that follow from insufficient management of these risks that sets them separated from most other companies. Of course, not all biotechnology companies face all of the risks sketched out over, and specific firms within the industry may face a subset of these industry risks. For illustration, a few may only be involved with early organized research and not included with product development. Next is corporate governance and risk management. Effective risk management is based on a solid foundation of corporate governance. According to the article, we took the UK as an example country. UK corporate governance code states unequivocally that the board of directors is responsible for evaluating the nature and scope of the organization's risk. The recognizable proof of potential risks and structures and strategies for their management is another, which is Enterprise Risk Management, ERM. ERM helps the board and the company to ensure that management effectively works through a handle of identifying and analyzing dangers in order to form informed decisions. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Nur Fatia Yasmin binti Abdul Ghani, metric number 051251. I will continue to present for my part.
Next, for discussion and critical analysis, given the number and complexity of risks involved, as well as the legislative requirements for a biotechnology company engaged in the full range of operations, it is clear that an ERM framework should be established and reviewed on a regular basis. Not only that, the ERM framework scope should include both financial and non-financial business risks. Incorporating non-financial business risk into the audit committee's management role necessitates that its members possess the necessary skills and experience to comprehend the company's risk management framework and assess the company's overall risk profile. Nowadays, risk management specialists are being used by many firms, whether it is internally or externally. However, it is unclear whether a single specialist or an external consultant firm would be better able to manage all of the risks present in a highly complex risk environment than an internally formed panel of experts. A separate risk management committee, in addition to the audit committee, could be formed to interact with the board and the audit committee. Constituting the committee solely with operational and technical staff without board representation may be problematic because they may lack the resources, authority, and breadth of business experience to carry out their responsibilities adequately. The board is required to oversee the establishment and review of an appropriate ERM framework under the corporate governance guidelines established by company and capital market regulators. The board also must be consulted on risk management issues and must be able to provide guidance to the risk management committee during its deliberation. To do this effectively, the board must ensure that the entire company is involved in risk management, making it an intrinsic part of the company culture.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nafana binti Harun. My metric number 050479. So, my part is conclusion. The article attempts to emphasize the need for risk management in all organizations, especially those that operate. Company and capital market regulators have recently increased their attention to governance and reporting. Currently, emphasize financial and business risks with the view to companies establishing ERM. Acceptance of ERM increased the need for board of directors and audit committees resources. This is especially true at highly complex risk environments, such as in the case of many biotechnologies. The described corporate governance model will provide the board of directors with direct contact with ERM within the group management. Implement appropriate ERM framework and separate risk management. The committee may increase the company's oversight cost, but information asymmetry should be reduced. Risk management is decentralized throughout the organization, which is business unit having its own risk management committee. Last, the trend of risk management is not unimaginable and report development to the enterprise or capital market regulators such as the Australian Securities Exchange have expanded the requirements for reporting ERM. Unlikely to report and personal risk will need to be disclosed, as most of the management strategy adopt are strategies and confidentially. However, these companies are likely to need to include the company's ERM report in the annual report and proper structures to manage. According to institutional theory, the adoption of new risk management practice and policies may be driven by the institutional framework within which it operates. Thank you. That's all from me.